Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher's Circus. Today we are going to be watching a match between myself and who? Quite a weird name to have if you ask me, but I'm not one to judge. So it looks like we are going to go first, and we are going to be playing against a very weird team. It looks like my opponent here has the Damage Hellion with Executioner's Halberd and the Savage Gauntlet, so it looks like he's going to be doing a lot of damage if he actually goes Afflicted, and overall, like maybe with Breakthrough and Quick Attack, quite the interesting setup. While I am going to be playing a team that was actually made by Jayne Moon, a person that I quite enjoy playing against, and it is quite an interesting team because it looks like kind of a sort of traditional Mark team, except having a Harman and a Musketeer instead of an Arbalest, but this Musketeer is actually a support Musketeer, so we're hopefully gonna see her do just that, just support her team as best as she can. So I immediately go for an uppercut on that Hellion because it's gonna knock her to the back, and honestly, Breakthrough just pales in comparison to Holy Lance because it dazes her and debuffs her. So I'm honestly quite happy about just pushing her to the back and worrying much less about her. Then my opponent goes with the bolster to give himself some dodge, which is reasonable because the Grave Robber does want that dodge, and I just go for a stun on this Crusader. Now I only have one stun trinket, the Sacred Blade. I do not have the Brass Knuckles for an extra stun chance, but considering that I get the crit, I still have pretty much a confirmed chance of getting that stun, so I just get it. And my opponent here goes for that Panic Dance on the Bounty Hunter, so it looks like he's gonna be trying to focus him down, because when you have a team with a Grave Robber in the back, it's usually less of an AoE stress team. It's more of you trying to focus down one character specifically a little more, usually the character that your opponent really wants to keep alive, because it is our finishing character, so we obviously want to keep him alive. So we see him go for that breakthrough, even against our boss, because we honestly don't have the vendetta yet, so it isn't too scary yet. The riposte isn't too scary. The breakthrough does a ton of damage to our bounty hunter, but we just heal it and heal the blight as well, because we're actually using the trinket Tincture of Iodine, which on the Musketeer, which actually lets us cure blights when we want to. This Iron Man is having kind of a weird setup. It's not going to be too useful this match, but he has pretty much half stress taken with both these trinkets, as well as being relatively tankier, especially with that stun resistance, but it's not going to help us too much, but he's still a good boy. He's still going to do lots of damage. Riposte is still going to be very scary now that we have that Vendetta buff. So because we have the Musketeer, we can't actually cure the bleeds now. Now we are an anti-stress, an anti-blight team, and not actually just anti-bleed as the Arbalest usually is. But who cares about that when you're actually doing Holy Lances for crit 27, so we just drop a huge Holy Lance on that Hellion, and now she's in trouble, because one hit from my aimed shot, and she's dropping down to 0, and then I can just go for a finish him. Of course, my opponent has a Man at Arms with the Protector's Kite, so he can just go for a guard, and that Hellion is going to be guarded pretty much indefinitely, so that is not too good. So yeah, as you can see here, I have that support Arbalest. I'm thinking, well, should I go for it? He's just gonna guard anyway. I'm also thinking, well, I could just heal, I could do lots of things, but forcing my opponent to guard here isn't the worst play in the world, because if he does that, I can just go uppercut on the flash one and still get pretty good value from my bounty hunter turn. So yeah, he's gonna go for that guard, and here's what's great. My Crusader actually has Zealous Accusation, which lets me hit both the front characters at the same time, even if one of them is guarded, obviously. And because I have the Writ of Execution, I actually have a slightly higher deathblow chance. So yeah, you see me highlighting that. I'm gonna go for it. My opponent probably notices that I have that option to just bypass the guard, so he goes for a heal with that Adrenaline Rush and actually gets a crit, which I really dislike, because it means that he's gonna go back up to a reasonable amount of HP, and with the protection from being guarded, my Zealous Accusation might not do enough damage. Though I just think to myself, like, wait, this Flagellant is in position 3, dazed, and I have 4 characters that can hit him. Yeah, because after I go for a Duelist Advance that gets a really good crit on him, my Crusader can Holy Lance on top, and then I have Aimed Shot, and then I have Finish him to very likely just dispose of this Flagellant in brutal fashion, as the Ancestor says. But Yeah, and my opponent can't guard both characters, obviously, so he might have to make a sacrifice, but oh my god, look at that breakthrough. Crit 21, crit 13, and a hit for like 9 on the higher man. That was insane. Kind of risky as well, going for it while the riposte is up, but man, that damage definitely paid off. Now what I'm thinking here is, well, there's a lot of nuances about this position, because that Hellion is at death's door. She is at death's door, but the Flagellant isn't quite at death's door. So if I drop the Flagellant to death's door, what's gonna happen is he actually heals the Hellion for a very small amount of HP just from dropping to death's door. And after I drop him, he's gonna be guarded or he's gonna heal. So it's not a very good situation for me, because the Flagellant, I mean, he's just a Flagellant, he's built different. By falling to death's door, he heals other characters out of death's door for some unknown reason, you know, just balance reasons, I guess. Or unbalanced reasons, I'd say. So yeah, right now he has to just change the guards, which isn't too bad for him. I mean, he's using up an action, but that means that the Flagellant is gonna stay protected. But here's what's great about this situation for me: I can still go finish him on this Hellion. I'm definitely gonna do enough damage. I went abusive, so there's not a pass chance with abusive, so that's a pretty good affliction to get here. And the thing is about this Flagellant, he's using the Madman's Collar because he's a madman. He didn't bring Redeem. He decided to bring Exsanguinate, Punish, Reign of Sorrows, and Reclaim. He decided to bring the regen instead of the Redeem, so he doesn't have that direct heal on his other characters. So that means that instead of him going for a Redeem, he just moves forward, because I mean, a regen would be useless because I'd go first round 4 anyway. So he just goes forward with that, and yeah, that was quite scary. That was quite scary, because if he did have that Redeem, I would have had a harder time, because I would have to bring the Hellion back down to death's door. It would be quite difficult. But now, why is he taking so long to actually just go for that Exsanguinate? He's looking at the hit chances, because once again, he's a madman to bring the Madman's Collar in the Last Breath Collar, and he didn't even use command, so his accuracy was 90. It was a 90% chance of hitting that Exsanguinate, and he misses. So he uses up the Exsanguinate, gets debuffed, gets dazed, doesn't heal himself. It's just an amazing situation for me here. I'm trying to heal this bounty hunter, and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I know he's doing more stress than what I'm healing, obviously, because even if I heal and cure the blights, he's still doing a lot of stress, but I'm thinking that maybe I can force a heart attack while being healthy, and I can just heal my bounty hunter indefinitely. That's going to be what I'm going for. So we can see that thing I was talking about, the Zealous Accusation, just doing a hit on both the Flagellant and the Man-at-Arms. Since he's guarded, but they're both in positions 1 and 2, I can still hit that Flagellant. Of course, he does have that Last Breath Collar, so he has extremely high death blow resistance. Extremely high. It was only like an 18% chance, even with my increased death blow chance from the Rite of Execution, so really good situation for him. But yeah, now he just goes for that Panic Darts, and he gets the crit. I mean, maybe the crit wasn't even necessary. I had taken enough damage. I was at 5 HP, so I dropped to 0, and then yeah, that happens. But Zealous Accusation, 33% chance of getting a death blow, and we take it. You might be asking me, well, why didn't I go for a stun on the Man-at-Arms and then get the kill on the Flagellant with a better chance? Well, since I have the Rite of Execution, I don't have a reliable stun chance. It's a 50-50. I'd rather just get the potentially get the kill and do some collateral damage here. I felt like that would be the best winning play for me, and at this point it's a 3v3. So he decides to go for was that Bolster, or had he used Bolster before? I'm actually quite confused now. But yeah, he decided to go for that move, and what I did was I gave myself some accuracy buffs with the ranging shot, as well as giving me minus stress taken, so I don't miss my Duelist Advance as well as the Holy Lance that I'm about to drop next. So now I won't really miss it, but this Man-at-Arms, oh, he has the right tools for the job. He has the Protector's Kite and the Retribution Shield, like the Spike Shield. So he's gonna guard that Grave Robber, and he's gonna use Retribution, and I'm not gonna be able to hit that Grave Robber, and whenever I hit that mana arms, I'm gonna eat a riposte for potentially a lot, because Spike Shield is a good trinket. It's a really good trinket. It makes the mana arms riposte go from tickling to actually hurting like a lot. Now, important thing to note is that this Grave Robber actually has Thrown Dagger and Panic Darts, which means that she doesn't have Lunge, so she doesn't have a better deathblow chance, and she also doesn't have Pick to the Face. So if she's the last character alive, she's not going to be able to kill me. So here my game decision was to actually just do some damage to the corpse, because right now a Wicked Slice against the protection wouldn't do that much, and I didn't feel like it would be meaningful enough to go for it. I'd rather just take out the corpse and start using Zealous Accusation to hit both of them, potentially get afflictions, and start dropping the Grave Robber to Death's Door. And when the Bounty Hunter corpse goes away, I can also use Buckshot with the Musketeer, so I'm thinking 5 rounds ahead here by going for that corpse. So now he starts focusing down my Crusader. Keep in mind, I do have a Virtue chance with that Sacred Blade, but yeah, here we clear the corpse, so the corpse is gone. Now we can hit both of them. Of course, my opponent knows this as well, and he's gonna make me hurt for it, so he's gonna drop that Retribution. It doesn't do much damage on activation, it's only a 3, but you'll see that Repulse is gonna hurt a lot more. Though we see this Musketeer here clearing the Blights and doing way more healing than what she typically does. So that Crusader is back at 17 HP with his protection, so he is chilling. The Mana Arms Repulse is for 9, so kind of an average roll with the Spiked Shield considering we have protection. And since Crusader has a lot of bleed resistance, we don't even eat the bleed, so I'd say quite a good outcome for us. Unfortunately, we're not doing that much damage because my opponent has so much protection. It is insane how much he has. He had 30 on that Grave Robber while he was guarded, and like 50 on the Mana Arms, I believe. So we're just gonna go for another heal on that Crusader. That's not gonna heal the stress away. For that we need to do ranging shot, but I can't use both in one round, unfortunately. So I'd rather just keep my Crusader alive in terms of HP for now, and hopefully get a Virtue sometime. So now I'm gonna have a chance between a decision between going Zealous Accusation or Stunning Blow, and I go Zealous. I drop that Grave Robber to Death's Door, and yeah, there's the crit repulse for like 15, was it? 15? Yeah, that was totally insane, and he did get the bleed because the crit repulse gave him an extra chance of bleeding, so that means that my Crusader is actually gonna drop to Death's Door after this, so that's not too happy. And he does another crit repulse for 18 this time. I hit him for a crit, but he hits back for a crit. I mean, this Mana Arms is going wild with those crits. That's just Mana Arms with Spike Shield in a nutshell. It really is Mana Arms with Spike Shield in a nutshell. So right now that Grave Robber's at Death's Door, and the only thing that can hit her, I mean, this Highwayman can only hit into the Mana Arms. He can't bypass guard. That's kind of the problem of having a Highwayman and not a Jester, because Jester can bypass guards, but wow, 25% death load. You can see my opponent like flicking the mouse all over the place already. Yeah, because he got that 25% death load, so what a great development for him. And wow, yeah, you can see him flicking the mouse even more all over the place. In joy, I'm flicking the mouse in horror of just losing 2 characters in like a split second, because the Crusader goes irrational and immediately goes for a hit on himself, and because of that Writ of Execution actually increases the death blow chance of just hitting himself for just oofing himself to like a 35% chance, which, I mean, it was enough. What were the chances of both characters dying so quickly? Well, I don't know. 1 in God knows how many, but well, let's go on with the match. I have to do it because it's still not all over. The Musketeer, it's not the usual character you see to pull off these in-game situations, you know, to just get 1v2s and 1v3s, but she is doing relatively well here because she had a lot of base HP. My opponent decided to go Shadow Fade and then Panic Darts. I guess he was hoping for a crit to do way more damage to my Musketeer, I'd say. And he manages to survive the first death blow. And the thing is here, I'm already getting way closer to Death's Door. And what's gonna happen is, if I go Buckshot, I'm eating a Riposte, and then I'm eating a Retribution. So this is a really bad situation for me in terms of death blows, because my HP disappeared so quickly. And you might be asking here, like, Shep, wait, he just dropped his guard. He just dropped his guard ship. You don't have to go buckshot anymore. Even though you're gonna do damage to the man-at-arms, you're gonna eat a riposte. You don't have to go for it. Like, why did he drop his guard? Well, the thing is, I was at 7 HP and taking 6 blight and 6 bleed. No, I mean 6 DOT damage between blight and bleed, and what happened was he decided to go for retribution so I would drop the Death Door so he could actually get this hit. And that was a good play by him, but unfortunately it did not pay off because I got the death blow, 3rd time's the charm on that Grave Robber, so the 3rd death blow with the aim shot we got it, finally. And now, what happens is, since those corpses are still there, remember it takes 5 rounds for the corpses to disappear, I can just keep healing. And the thing about the Musketeer heal is that each time you heal, you actually heal 25% more HP, and because of the Tincture of Iodine, we actually have even more healing skills. What's gonna happen is, I'm just gonna sit there, I'm gonna heal forever, and he's gonna be unable of doing anything to me, and by the time the corpses actually go away, by the time that actually happens, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have like 30 HP, I'm gonna drop him to Death's Door with the buckshot, and then I'm just gonna oof him entirely. He won't be able to kill me in time even if he gets a lot of riposte, so my opponent just decides to surrender and call the match quits. So, hope you guys enjoyed that crazy match, and I'll see you again another time. Cheers.